Hello, everybody. Welcome to That's Football. Welcome to the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. Welcome to the Premier League review. Welcome to Liverpool, top of the league. Man City in crisis. Arsenal bounce back with Chelsea. Amorim gets a reality bite. Ange says, up yours, you haters. And are Ipswich better than Manchester City? And Will is back from somewhere. And where did you go?
I went to Barbados, as you can tell by my glorious tan. But it was great. But what's better is our Premier League is back. Shocks up and down the table. When you go down to watch a Premier League weekend now, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's what gets me going.
You genuinely don't. I think we've been big champions of the Premier League for a very long time. And I think when you look at this Premier League weekend, it just really excites. Knowing that there are no more international breaks till March basically means that there is football every week. I don't think they've even got one of them stupid winter breaks going on this year either, have they? Where they split it. I think that's been binned off at last.
Let's drain the players so they have nothing left to give.
Exactly. Well, I tell you what, Man City are looking drained. But one team that's not looking drained, and we've got to talk about Mo Salah's contract situation as well. Also, Steve Cooper sacked by Leicester. We talk about everything on here, and there are some big VAR moments, of course. That would not be a show if we didn't have that. Let's start with Liverpool, though. 8 points clear at the top. Manchester City next Sunday at Anfield. Is it Liverpool's title to lose, even though it is still only late November?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. You know, sometimes you have to zoom out of the big picture, don't you, and look what's happened and gone before. I think they were showing up the amount of points that Liverpool are ahead at this stage of the season compared to other seasons. The only team not to do it was
Newcastle.
I would love it if you got that right.
Kevin Keegan.
And you did.
Liverpool connection.
Exactly, stuff. So that, I think when you actually look at that, but the thing is this Manchester City side has been a juggernaut. But it feels like a Fallout. If you watch Fallout, it feels like an aging juggernaut where their metal's a bit damaged, they're aging, they need a bit of a replacement. I think the big indication for that was the Gundogan like sort of letting his man go, but Liverpool purring. But then I think the biggest test is all this Salah stuff. How's he going to deal with that?
I also think that, look, I'm never going to be sympathetic towards Liverpool, but let's just take a reality bite, because it is a show full of reality bites for Leicester, for Amorim, for Manchester City, for Fulham. There's loads of reality bites here, but I think that what I would say about Liverpool, in fairness, is that they're in a position that they haven't asked to be in the sense of when people start saying it's Liverpool's to lose, you know, if they bottle this, I mean, it's literally August, September, October, 4 months for slot. They're 8 points clear at the top. They've got the best team in the league coming to them next Sunday. If they win that, they're 11 points clear. And yeah, absolutely, we can't hide away from this. I'm sure Liverpool would like to. You can't hide away from the fact that this league title is theirs to lose. But on the flip side of that, you've got to also acknowledge that Slot will be doing everything he can to try and not have it about them losing. I think he said at the weekend himself, it's incredible where they are after such a short period of time, to have such a big gap. And the reason for that has just been they've been more efficient than everybody else. I mean, even yesterday against Southampton, at times that was looking like it was going to be a slip-up. But there was no Steven Gerrard and there was no slip-up, and they did get the result. But I still think that their biggest issue could be one that is not really of their own doing, whereby they just suddenly find themselves in this weird position that nobody would have predicted, where you're 8 points clear at the end of November and everyone's saying it's your title to lose. And they'll be like, hold on a minute, we weren't even anybody's favourite to win it.
But I think with that, though, obviously the manager hasn't been there to the summit with this Liverpool side, but you look around that whole team and it's pretty much similar to when they did win the league in terms of like your Alissons, your Van Dijks, your Salahs. Obviously that midfield's changed and they brought people in, but you sort of three Trent Alexander-Arnold, but your three key stalwarts, key stalwarts are there. So I think we can give them put a bit more pressure on them a little bit, because one, we want to see it. We want to see Manchester City stop dominance, and two, I think this Liverpool side have just built on what Klopp was doing, but added a lot more to it.
So you saying Liverpool are going to win this league?
I think Liverpool are going to win this league. Yeah, I think Liverpool are the way that if they can do a Tottenham to Manchester City next weekend, then I mean, might as well shut the doors and focus on the relegation battle.
We'll come back to your super chat in a minute, Alexander. It's a very good one, but it is United related. Vit says, what does it mean when you say it's Liverpool's title to lose? We just must remember that Football IQ is spread out. We are a very diverse podcast and channel, and some people have lower football IQ than others. What we mean, Vit, is that Liverpool are 8 points clear at the top of the league, and that normally is quite a big lead that would suggest that if they don't win the the league. We might look back at this in May and say, Liverpool were 8 points clear at the end of November. It was their title to lose. They've got a very big lead. It's not unassailable, but it is a very, very big lead. And I think that I'm actually still going... I'm going to lower the pressure on Liverpool a little bit here, Will, because I'm going to still say... I'm not changing what I said at the start of the season. I'm still putting Man City to win the league. And I'll tell you for why. You've already given the answer yourself. They are the only club we know that can go and win 11, 12 Premier League games in a row. And in this season that we're loving, if they could do that, I think they'd win the league again, because it's just too competitive. I don't think Liverpool are going to keep winning every week because the league is just too competitive. I mean, look at what Southampton did to them yesterday. You know, if you go to Fulham or anywhere else, you might drop points. And if Man City do what they can do and suddenly become the juggernaut, I think they can eat up a lead. But they've got to get something on Sunday.
Yeah, well, let's speak about the here and now, because this morning all the quotes coming out from Mo Salah about his contract status. I think he has said, and I quote, "We are almost in December." And
apparently he's going to Ipswich in January on a free.
Yeah, Kieran McKenna ball is the way forward. We're almost in December. I haven't received any offers yet to stay in the club. I'm probably more out than in. And you look at this season, who's their best player? Who was their match winner yesterday? Mo Salah. So as much as we're sort of pumping the Liverpool bandwagon up, they're top of the table, their best player is not happy.
You don't want to upset him.
No.
This is like having a restaurant. You got Gordon Ramsay as the main chef, and then you've upset him. He ain't going to put the work in.
No.
It probably would, actually, and so will Mo Salah. But I think it's all about length. With Mo Salah.
Yeah, it's about length with a lot of things.
And I think apparently the contract length is the thing they're debating. Liverpool, to be fair, have always been very consistent about players in their 30s and not giving out silly contracts. But is there not a point, Liverpool fans and Will, where you just go, hold on a minute, this guy, for me, and I've said it before, we've both said it, probably the most underrated player in world football. Why is he never in the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or? Why is he never winning Player of the Month? Why is he never winning Player of the Year? Absolutely consistent, the most consistent player in the Premier League over the last 5 years, without a shadow of a doubt. Surely he is a player, goals and assists as well. He's also the sort of player that I think if he lost his pace a little bit would still be massively valuable. When you look at someone like Bernardo Silva, who's a left-footed technician, he's not about pace either. So I think if he wants 2 years, I'd give him 2.
Yeah, I just can't... Look, you spoke about consistency there. I think if we were looking back on a Mo Salah career at Liverpool where it was ebbs and flows and ups and downs, when it got to this point, you'd go, right, we've had a great time together, let's call it a day. But even in his worst season, I think he was still over like 20 goals and assists, wasn't he? The amount of times he's got to 30 goals or 30 goals and assists is absolutely staggering. And like you said, we always undervalue him, we always underrate him. And at the time you think someone would value him would be the club he's put so much into. I just find it absolutely staggering that we're set here, and if my Football Manager knowledge is correct, clubs from abroad can start putting the offers in from January, can't they? So you where are we now going into the 1st of December at the end of the month? He's visibly not happy.
Is that true?
What?
At the end of the month, it'll be the 1st of December.
At the end of the... Yeah. At the end of this week, it'll be the first. Yeah, thank you. Technicality. But I just can't believe Real Madrid could be there. Real Madrid could go in for a triple sweep.
Yeah, well, you know what, actually, my take on this, and I'm interested in everyone else's, is that I actually just think this is just very clever from a player that's got all the cards, Mo Salah. He is... Look, if Liverpool don't give him a contract, he's not going to be working in your local Tesco, on the night shift. He's going to get Saudi big money, quite rightly.
I think he's still got a Real Madrid in him.
But exactly, that's what I mean. I think he's not going to be short of offers. I think what this is all about is I haven't had the contract offer I want it yet. He says it publicly a month out from January, sparks the ears of Saudi, Real Madrid, Barcelona, everybody else like that. And basically, it's about my final contract. What you're going to give me, and he might want to stay at Liverpool, but if he's going to stay at Liverpool, I want the contract I want. If I'm not, I might get offered something that's really good, and I think that's what it's all about. And actually, Liverpool should be moving heaven and earth to keep him, I think, but really, he is the sort of player, I would say, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference to his focus, determination until the end of May.
Yeah, and also I don't think in this situation, I'm not telling Edwards how to run the club, but I don't think you can start playing Moneyball in this. If we were doing like an either or, you go Saka or Salah, you go, oh, Saka's younger, he's got 10 years on him, but it's like, right, you have got Mo Salah now. I'm sure the way he's come out with the comments, if you give him a good contract, he wants to stay. I think that's clear. He wouldn't be saying this. He'd just sort of go off into the sunset, wouldn't he? So you've got to keep your best asset and a match winner that's doing the stuff now.
If I was a United fan, if I was a Liverpool fan, then I'd be fuming if they let Salah go because of money. As a Man United fan, I'd be ecstatic if he walks away because of money, because, as you say, this Edwards guy might be all about, oh, look at me, I'm a hipster with my bloody money bullshit. But the bottom line is, sometimes players transcend that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think Mo Salah is universally the most underrated player in the Premier League from United fans and Birmingham fans and everybody else.
We stand with Mo Salah.
I would say, I would be going, he's past it, lying, past it, get rid of him. The reality is, I'm saying, you'd be idiotic to let Mo Salah go. And if Liverpool think that people like that don't grow on trees.
No, exactly. And how much are you going to have to spend to replace him?
You can't go and pick another Mo Salah up. You can't go and... That consistency is unique. And I think what will happen with Salah is the longer he leaves the Premier League, the more he will become a Premier League legend. So they should be looking to keep him.
Yeah, 100%. And what's the idea to replace him with? You're going to have to spend 100 million to replace someone of that quality who's not guaranteed. And also... Look, they're having all the success, and the biggest thing that could be derailing them is contract talks.
We've got Trent, you've got Van Dijk. If they lose two of those three, it'll be a very difficult season.
We're a month
for Salah.
away from that happening. I think we've been talking about it like, oh, it could happen, and Liverpool fans are like, it won't happen. We are nearly a month away from that happening.
Olmo says it's pure bollocks that he's not happy. I think this is coming from an unhappiness from Salah about the club's hunger to keep him. And if he goes, it'll be down to Liverpool Football Club. So, and I know a few Liverpool fans, and they're very happy with the manager and they're very happy with the players, but they've always been a little bit suspicious about Liverpool's ownership, and quite rightly so if you're not happy about it. Anyway, let's Liverpool top of the league. Getting your comments. Is it there to lose? I think it is theirs to lose, but I would just segue that into the fact that Man City, I still think, have that juggernautism in it. But I tell you what, Will, what's your thoughts on this Man City scenario? I think they've lost the same amount of games now than they did in the whole of last season, not even Christmas. And also, Pep Guardiola signed this new contract that we did not expect. Yeah. Nobody expected that. My theory is they're just a one-man team, which I never thought I'd be saying.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's deeper than a one-man team. And I think the performances were sort of trending downwards even with Rodri in the team. But with Rodri in the team, there was a sort of, they'll get you over the line mentality as well, where they could play badly, they might win 1 or 2-0. But, we were saying this when they were playing Southampton at home. It's just been tracking all the way down. And then you get the Etihad performance on Saturday night when it was pouring down with rain. Both got smiles on our faces. It was an early Christmas present. But, you look at that Spurs side, their two best central defenders are out. They're not playing. So it's like, oh, they're coming up against tougher opposition now. Well, Spurs aren't exactly all firing. Maddison's been in and out of that side. He had an absolutely wonderful performance.
Just lost to Ipswich.
Just lost to Ipswich. So,
I thought it was going to be the other way, actually. I tweeted before, which I'm quite happy to get wrong.
Yeah, nice. I like
a good jinx.
Yeah.
But I actually thought that had new contract for Pep.
Yeah.
Not their two best centre-backs.
Rodri on the pitch. I'm a Ballon d'Or winner.
Spursy.
Yeah.
And then Man City win it 4-0. Absolutely incredible stuff. And we'll talk about Spurs and Ange in a minute, because I think I'm really happy about that he's sort of gone up yours, mate, Cobber. But I think with regards to Pep, he'd be really confused. He's just a mere mortal, Will. He'd be really confused by that. I think before the international break, we'd have been saying maybe the 1-1-5 is causing some disruption. Pep Guardiola in his final few months, no new contract, that's going to cause disruption. Rodri obviously going to cause disruption. You remove the Pep thing, that should be players go, Pep's here for 2 more years, stability. Right, time to go to work. And then they go and shit out their worst ever performance at the Etihad in years.
Do you think it could almost be a bit like...
Maybe they want him to go.
Well, I was almost alluding to that in terms of, I know we're 12 games into the season, Arne Slot's career at Liverpool could end up any which way, but the narrative now at the start of the season in his tenure is he's built on what Klopp's done, and for certain players like Curtis Jones, they've gone, oh, it's a breath of fresh air, we're doing something new. Do you almost think City players have oh, we had a great time, we know he's going, and there's 2 more years, oh, for fuck's sake. It's not because of the success and everything that he brings, but, there'll be certain players Jack Grealish who ebbed and flowed with that. I just find it a bit weird,
it's a bit I get what you mean, because I think I alluded to this a little bit on Saturday night on the watch-along, that Pep Guardiola, no doubt, arguably the best coach in the world, but it's very intense.
Yeah.
Even I find him annoying, and I try not to watch Man City. At the end of the game when he's having a team talk with the opposition, or he's having a go at players, or he's having a go at his own players. And I think, like you say, Jack Grealish, £100 million player, we've got to have the conversation. Jack Grealish is a flop. Why is Niall getting up? This is clippable. We've got to have this conversation that Jack Grealish is a flop. Like £100 million, one good season, sandwiched between can't get in the team. Oh, I loved Grealish at Villa. Yeah. You can critique a player without having an agenda or toxicity. I was talking about this about Rashford on the United stand. For me, Jack Grealish was one of the most exciting players in the Premier League at Aston Villa. Absolutely loved watching him, takes people on, made things happen. Fantastic player. Wanted him at Man United, went to Man City, sort of went, what's that all about? Doesn't suit a Pep team. He'll kill his momentum. He'll make him not a flair player. Goes there for 100 million, gets pissed with a few fucking trophies. And I'm sure his bank balance is happy, and I'm sure Grealish is happy. But I would say to Grealish, mate, you're going to probably say to me, look at my bank account, couldn't give a shit what you think. I'd say to you, look at your talent at Villa. I thought you were amazing. I think you've wasted it. See you later. Who's the real winner? You are with your bank account, but I've still made you look a little bit of a twat because you were a great player and you're not a great player anymore. Cameoing off the bench for Man City, £100 million.
I thought you meant he was cameo. All right, mate. Thanks for everything.
It might be.
Yeah,
it might be.
That's the way to go. But I was thinking it because I was rewatching The Last Dance for about the 5th time, and when
I need to watch that.
When Michael Jordan leaves in that retirement period, and they're like, oh, we had a great year without him. They didn't win anything, but they were like, oh, it's just a bit more relaxed. We had a bit more of a good time. They were like, how far did you get? Oh, we didn't win anything, but it was just nicer because he wasn't on us all the time. And I just thought maybe that applies a little bit to the Pep situation, and maybe it says more about the mentality of the players. Like Gary Neville went into it in terms of the aging profile of some of them that have been there as well. And it does need a bit of a... Feels like they need that one transfer to go like, oi. Not that they need anymore.
Is it not just what happens at Klopp, really, that it's so intense that at some point it becomes... it needs something new.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil Foden's not the same player. He won Player of the Year last year. Erling Haaland did have chances against Spurs, but doesn't look sharp. Bernardo Silva's a fantastic player, doesn't look as good.
I mean, look, I was supposed to have an interview with Guardiola a couple of weeks ago. The night before he dropped a stinker at Sporting Lisbon, and then he was terrible at the weekend. So, in a way, have we got to be blamed for this?
Good, I'll take that. I think that there might be a tiredness, and also they are such a bad team when things don't go their way. And they're so petulant.
Yeah,
I mean,
like De Bruyne, like with
he should have got sent off. He tried to kick him with the yellow card, didn't he? Afterwards,
but I
could have killed him.
I do genuinely think this 1-1-5 stuff in terms of the way that they've acted in the transfer market, because each year there's normally something or someone to grab you, and they brought back Ilkay Gundogan, and he was at fault for the first goal for me. It's just like, it feels like they would have bought a better calibre of player and maybe in midfield to...
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can, sir.
This Pep Guardiola contract, 115 charges, 2-year deal, not one, a 2-year deal with no break clause. We don't know what's going on in the court case, but the people in the court case know what's going on. I read it that might not be a good sign for Man City getting guilty, because Pep Guardiola would be an absolute prat to sign a 2-year contract with no break clauses in it. If Man City are going to get done, he could be managing the National League. So do you not think that as well could have been a little bit of a hint that things might not be as bad as people are thinking at the end of the season as well, which makes it even more confusing as to why Man City are still struggling?
I generally think that they're not going to get found guilty just for the amount of, like, you see that picture when the lawyers roll up, it's like the bloody cast of evolution with Triple H. So
there'll be some sort of middle ground, I reckon.
Yeah, but maybe if they are going to get done, maybe Pep knows that they're going down to the Championship, then the 2-year spell is getting promoted, second season back in the Champions League, and then people like you can't go, well, I've not had any tough jobs. I took Man City from the Championship with Kevin De Bruyne to the top of the Premier League.
I think we'd get way more interest if I took over Man City in the Championship.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the interest would be there.
Me and my puppy could get them. Forget Pep, puppy.
Yeah, nice.
Pup
Guardiola.
Pup Goldbridge. Pup and Goldbridge in charge. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to get promoted, aren't they? But I'll go back to what I was saying. For me, it's on the pitch that we're talking about, and there is a mentality drop-off, but you can't misunderstand the warning signs that were there about Rodri, as boring as it might be. We already knew before the cruciate ligament injury that when he doesn't play, which wasn't very often, like Villa last year, they got humiliated at Villa Park. I know it was 1-0, but they got absolutely battered. When Rodri doesn't play, they struggle, and that's the bottom line, which is sort of a damning indication of Pep, really. They are so reliant. I mean, I always thought it with Roy Keane and Sir Alex, but he still found ways to win when Roy Keane had gone. And, without Roy Keane, we were still very competitive. But Rodri for Man City, they are so different without him.
I know, but there's still that lingering thought in the back of my head. I think we've said it for a few weeks, and it's just quite ironic that it's gone on to 5 straight defeats. At like in Manchester City's darkest hour, that's when it sort of like they get respawned again, don't they? Like, right, I'm bringing this tactical system in. We've got this £50 million player coming in January, and then they go on from January to. They could end still with a treble.
If they win on Sunday, they're 5 points behind Liverpool. I'd fancy them to claw it back.
Exactly, yeah. And then I guarantee if they win on Sunday, we come in Monday. Mo Salah's not signed a contract. What's Virgil van Dijk doing? Where's
Liverpool
Trent going?
in crisis.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, it can soon flip around, and you wouldn't put it past Manchester City winning that game.
I wouldn't want to give Liverpool team talks because they'll already know it themselves, but Man City, when things are going bad like they did in that last 20 minutes, are petulant, moody and all over the place. And at Anfield, you've just got to make it a pressure cooker on Sunday.
Oh yeah, and the Liverpool fans are great at that, aren't they? In terms of some of those favourite memories of recent Premier League history when they've been going for the title against Manchester City and the games that them two have had. So hopefully it's like that. But I don't think we'd be remiss not to praise Spurs because I thought they were absolutely brilliant. Like they put the pressure on in the right bits. Like we said, without their 2 best centre backs, they were still outstanding. James Maddison has had the game that we all know he can have, and we hope he has consistently, don't we? Because he was absolutely standing. Kulusevski. Solanke leading the line.
He's had a great season, Kulusevski.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Even Brennan Johnson, when he came on, I was like, he's had a really good season. That shows depth up front. But there's still 25 games to go as well.
Could Spurs win the league?
Well, what I was going to say is I was going to bring Arsenal and Chelsea in as well because I thought Spurs are so pleased for Ange because we were talking about him before, and with Ten Hag being sacked, he's the next obvious. Look, the media are never going to start talking about Russell Martin. No one gives a shit. Even though you want to see him sacked.
No, I don't want to see him sacked. I was actually coming in to apologise to him.
Check the WhatsApp. But I think that the media always want to have a manager to knock one out to
Lambast.
And also one to put pressure on, and it was Ten Hag. Ten Hag's gone now. It can't be Amorim. It won't be Slots. It's not going to be Arteta at the moment. It's never going to be Pep, is it? So Ange was the target for the big clubs sacking. And I think if they'd lost to Man City, it would have escalated even more. But they were absolutely fantastic. The question is, Will, Arsenal and Chelsea both won. I sort of feel that top 4, as much as it's a really competitive league, I'm starting to think the top 4 really is probably going to be, well, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea. Spurs are trajecting up at the moment, but we know they're very Spursy. Do you see anybody else? I mean, Chelsea looked very, very back on it again.
I think Chelsea...
Even Arsenal could have been a little bit.
They could. I think Chelsea, that consistency, I think we need to see when we get to... Where are we at now? Maybe when we get to a halfway point at 19 games, see where that consistency is. Like, they're doing very well. They've managed to manoeuvre the squad well. Arsenal... It was just a good, solid, boring win, wasn't it, the weekend? And that's probably what they needed.
Do you think Arsenal have become a little bit boring? There's nothing wrong with being boring. I'm not saying they're a boring team, but they've had their 2 years where they fought for the title. Now it's Liverpool's title to lose. I know that's a headline, but they are 8 points clear. And Arsenal have sort of... I even sense it from Arsenal fans watching their game on Saturday afternoon. It's almost like even the win against Forest was just, well, we'd expect that, you know.
Yeah,
they're still locked in on that whole... Why have we dropped so many points? Why Liverpool there? I mean, I still think Arteta's doing a very good job, but they are... Well, Odegaard's come back. They're a better team. I still don't... I think if Arsenal, they're sort of like... The worst thing they can do is just hold ground in third. I'm not saying
just
that they need...
water
obviously they're not going to want to drop, but I think they need to...
But it comes back
they need to find another gear, don't they?
Yeah, it comes back to expectations, doesn't it? You speak about finding another gear. The expectation for them was to find another gear and win the title this season. So now to be 4th behind Chelsea, Manchester City and Liverpool, especially the Liverpool situation, because we've always spoke about the best way for success is stability, isn't it? With Klopp, Pep, keeping Arteta, you like to think by rewarding that and trending in the right way, you're going to have that success. But they're not this year. It feels like a really good Premier League because everyone, like Liverpool, are going to have 2 defeats in a row, aren't they? And that could start from next weekend. So, I think Spurs could push up there. Brighton are currently 5th, and at the moment, Europe's a bit of an anomaly, isn't it, for English teams? Oh God, what have you seen?
Well, we're going to talk about United in a minute, but William Marsh says United are 3 points off the bottom 3. Let's double check that one out. But I just liked this from Alpha Gaming as well. Arsenal are too pragmatic in their approach. You know what it is with Arsenal? I would say to Arsenal fans, where you are from where you were under Arteta, do not complain because things can go a lot worse, a lot quicker. But I think what you do need is, and Will's right with treading water, you're sort of treading water in 3rd place at the moment. That could get worse. to get better, I think you're a very stable team, but you're missing that spark to get back in a title race. And I think that spark to me is just so nailed on. It's like, go and get a bloody striker.
Yeah.
Go and get somebody that's going to score you more goals than Saka and more goals than Havertz. And that team just needs a spark. Their summer signings, what were their summer signings? Calafiori,
Raheem Sterling,
Marino, Raheem Sterling. You need a striker that they need something exciting. Arsenal, even their fans, they are treading water, but they're in a good place. You know, you're treading water at a pool party that's got some very appealing views, but you are not. You're just watching. Yeah. Get yourself to the bar, get a pina colada, put your sunglasses on, and let's play ball. Yeah. And that's what that's what Arsenal need to do.
But also, like, you've got to look on the flip side of that. Like, the Arsenal are competing because they've managed to get Champions League football for the last how many seasons. Like,
they don't want to fall back into
exactly.
that.
If they drop out of that, that's when you don't attract players, you lose money, you lose revenue, and they're trying to beat down a Manchester City side that have, had that for what? When's the last time Manchester City won in the Champions League? 10, 15 years. So that's how you build, and that's how Liverpool have been able to do it. That's why Manchester United are faulting. So, the league title might not be achievable this year, but you must get top 4 or even top 5.
I really want to get into the Steve Cooper debate, but let's go with the views. Let's talk about Man United. We're 7 points off the bottom. Yeah, Prats. 3 points, my arse. Look, your thoughts. I've spoken a lot about yesterday. Look, the international break was great from a United fan point of view. It was soundbite after soundbite of Amorim, and he's this personality, post personality, the clothes, really, really charismatic,
lovely facial hair,
really good ideas. And then I tell you what, I watched United yesterday, and I was like, this is just what I found the most interesting was that if you gave Amorim Man City, say if Pep had left and Amorim came in for the international break, I think you'd have saw a really good Man City. This comes down to players for me. The amount of players that played below average in a manager's first game after all that hype and bluster, after them just sacking another manager, I thought, well, that's the problem, isn't it? But why is it? Why are they not still turning up?
Yeah, well, I think he spoke about him maybe instructing too much, and like that maybe can. I think there's definitely players not playing at the level, but then is that tied into not thinking? Is that tied into thinking too much? I think. It's exciting to have him as the new manager, and I think that just the way he speaks in the press conferences when he's not being interrupted by Ed Sheeran, I think is going to be a really...
That was stupid.
Oh, that was horrible,
was it Kelly Coates saying, Ed Sheeran's dropped in?
I didn't think it was more Kelly, it was more Jamie Redknapp, just like, you literally doing it'd be like me, you doing the podcast now and me going like, all right, pal, you on the middle of a rant, just interrupting you.
But you know what? I think it's also understanding football. Like, I don't care whether I support Swindon. If I'm watching Ruben Amorim talk, I want to know what he's got to say about what we're talking about there. Why have your players not turned up in a new game? And then all I can hear is, Ed Sheeran's just dropped in for a chat. I couldn't give a shit if he's dropping in to drop his new album. Piss off. Yeah, I won't go that far.
Well, no, but look, let's have it right. If Danny from the script's off camera, you'll stop dropping everything, aren't you, to have a little word with him?
Afterwards. He knows I'm professional.
Exactly, yeah.
But what's he going to... We're halfway through Amorim talking about the game.
In his first game,
and Ed Sheeran drops in. I couldn't give a shit. Yeah. I could not give a shit. It's not Top of the Pops. It's Sky Sports Football. I'm not paying £100 a bloody month for Ed Sheeran to drop in. I couldn't give a shit if Liam Gallagher dropped in, and I like Oasis.
Yeah, well, no, it was just very strange, wasn't it? But yeah, in terms of Amorim, I think it's exciting. I think players are going to have to, there's little things like I saw him, he was making sure every player went over to the away fans at the end, and I think there's little things like that. He's a better talker in the press. He looks like a motivator, get everyone together, and I think that half of the battle is going to be that, isn't it? Like, I think the playing ability will come because we have seen it with this squad in and out. So I am still excited for you. I think you said the best thing is
he knows.
If you'd have won 3-0 yesterday, here we go, brilliant. And I think the best thing is that you drew, and you can, he goes, well, this is a big problem.
Well, every player that I think's a problem was a problem.
Yeah.
And now he gets to see that problem. So I'm quite comfortable with that. I'm in it for the long ride. But I must admit, I was shocked that so many of them, I just think they're not good enough, Will. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I don't think they went, you know what, we wanted Rude, I'm not going to try.
No.
I just don't. I actually said this on the United stand. I said, look, we think some of our players are capable of being Rodri, Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Salah, and they're not. They're capable of being Harvey Barnes. And there's nothing wrong with Harvey Barnes, but we pay Mbappe wages to Harvey Barnes players. And they're good on their day, but they're not as good as we think. And when Amorim says after the game, some of these players are doing things you don't. Some of these players are making mistakes that you don't get coached. He's absolutely right. We can't. Some of these players aren't good enough to do the basics. So, for me, it's going to go back to the same old problem. Can they get rid of players that are locked in on big wages and contracts? And if you don't get rid of them, you've got to play them. And if you've got to play them, you're going to see more results like that.
And also, I think it's about expectation, isn't it? Because if he can almost bring the expectation down at the start, I think he's talked about coming in at the right time and being the right man for that. But I think you need to bring the expectation down because...
Well, he said it. He said he's going to be... I was listening to it on the radio on the way over. He said there's going to be more losses, probably.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to win some, but there will be more losses, which is refreshing.
Yeah, but you think, like you said there, what's the main way to grow is to get into those Champions League places, and they're nowhere near off that. So I think Manchester United fans' expectation is up here, but you need at least 4 or 5 guaranteed seasons in the Champions League to build a successful squad to get anywhere near where you want to be. And, there's a lot better run. Brighton are better run than Manchester United, aren't they?
You know what Amorim should have said to Ed Sheeran?
What?
I'm on my way. Yeah, jog on. I can't say the ginger thing.
No.
I really want to, but that's going to get outlawed at some point. And then someone will come back in 5 years and go, look what Goldbridge said.
What? Yeah, like you.
Fanta pants.
You just maybe
can't say that now.
You just go down the old...
And you're probably ginger, really.
I've got everything. Ginger, grey.
Definitely in the beard.
Blonde.
What's going on down there? That's what they're thinking.
Well, yeah. If we hit 10,000 likes...
I'm definitely
today.
not interested at all. Anyway, United... I tell you what, just very quickly before we move on, Gary Neville said it, but a lot of United fans said it. I fancy us for top 4 in the international break. And I was like, God, no. Right. Please don't put that before we've even kicked a ball.
Yeah.
We even had winning team photos back. Have you ever heard of the winning team photos?
No.
So United used to do this a lot. They'd train and then the camera guy would go, when you play the game at the end, the team that won in training, it would go on their socials this. Came back last week and I was like, oh, this is not a good thing.
Right.
This is not a good... Well, because we've always been shit when we've had winning team photos. They came back. It's like, the hype is Amorim. It's not you, knobheads. And I think that whole top 4 thing, we're still in... I think we're about 7 points off 4th, but there's about 10 teams.
You're just in
the league's too competitive.
And you're just in this vicious cycle where really the best thing for Manchester United would be to sort of get on with your work in the dark and not be talked about and crack on. But
we can't help ourselves.
No,
we're gonna get some top 4, Gary.
No, but it's not even you. It's the fact that the best thing that we love to do, isn't it? Build people up, watch them succeed, and then the failure. Oh my God, let's have a little roast dinner around that.
Well, it was even yesterday. I don't know where it was coming from, but a few people saying it in the chat. So they're obviously listening to different pundits around the world because we get people watching all over the world. They could be listening to America, it could be British TV, it could be radio. And they were saying that some people were saying, I don't know whether it's a good idea that Amorim's playing a 3-4-3. I was like, his whole career is 3-4-3. He's good.
Danny Murphy said it on. See, Danny Murphy. I mean, we haven't done Pratt of the Week in a while, but Danny Murphy was like, I wouldn't be surprised in a year's time if he's not playing 3-4-3 after one game.
Well, you may as well sack him then.
Yeah.
He is the 3-4-3 guy. He's never ever moved away from 3-4-3. But it'd be interesting. I just think United fans need to lower their expectations and be patient. I do look at what Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool. He had a lot of bad results at the start. But to be fair, Jurgen Klopp didn't have player power, and player power at United is the thing that has to be removed like a boil on the arse. If you want to sit people down, you got to be able to sit down yourself, and you're not going to do that with a big... Well, I've probably got 3 or 4 big boils on the arse of Man United, actually. And they need lancing. They need removing.
But you can do the old boiling now, can't you? The old... What's that called? The old the nitrogen...
I don't have a boil on the arse, I don't know.
My granddad had a few on his head.
Oh, and they're just cryptocurrency.
Crypto, yeah. Dodge coined off him, his head.
But no, I
think the best thing to do is what we said in the summer. If Ineos just need to be like, I still don't really know what the 3-year plan is in terms of expectations. And next year, because as soon as Manchester United kick on a little bit, that's what it's like, isn't it? Oh, top 4 could be on. Then we might have a chance at the title. It's like, well, hang on a minute. For the next 3 years, we just want to get Champions League football in the second season.
Yeah, and keep in it.
And then crack on. Everyone chill out.
Sometimes the hint is there. Like, if it smells like shit, it looks like shit, it's shit. And United smell like shit and have been shit and look shit for 10 years. So
it's not gonna change.
stop pretending it's chocolate mousse. It's definitely shit. And also, I think the blueprint's there as well. From Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City, the blueprint is there. You've got to get the structure right. You've got to remove the shit. And you've got to build consistently the same year on year on year. I think Ineos have brought in some good people in the management and in the structure. But what they haven't done yet is remove players that everybody knows need to be removed from that football club. And until they do that, you're still polishing a turd.
And just finally, I think you want people that, you know, for the next 3 or 5 years, you're going to be on the journey with. You know, like, not to bring it back to Birmingham, but there's a lot of players there that I can go, right, we could be on the journey with these players for 3 to 5 years. That Leicester City side that did that, you can do that. With Manchester United, I still think, you know, with Ahmed and Garnacho, there's ones there, but then you look at Maguire, Evans, even Rashford, Fernandes probably stays, but there's so many people that you don't know what their future lies in.
Sometimes we make mistakes. I've just been told by our producer that we can't give out health advice. If you have got a boil on your bum, arm or head, don't put cryptocurrency on it.
No.
I don't think you actually can. I don't think cryptocurrency actually exists.
I think you can get physical coins.
People who are there putting their phone on their head or something like that. That's not going to work. I think we're talking about liquid nitrogen. Do not put that anywhere.
Best thing to do is just pop it with a rusty needle. The
best thing to do is get yourself to the doctor or nothing like that. Let's talk about, there was some, the Premier League's brilliant. I love talking about it. Fulham beaten by Wolves. We've got to give them a little bit of a shout out before we talk about Steve Cooper's sacking, which I just think is incredible. But I'm just going through some of the other moments. I thought that the Wolves result was fantastic. You've got them in the relegation zone. I told you that won't happen.
No, sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say Wolves look good. They've not lost in 4 Premier League games.
You're holding your hands up more regularly than someone waving a taxi, mate. Wolves are never going down. A fantastic performance as well. Even I was shocked. I mean, Fulham are a good side. The quintessential Premier League side.
Exactly, yeah. But Cunha looks absolutely unbelievable. And in those situations, those players that can produce mad, like the ball over from Lamina, the touch, the chest, the goal, and then his second one was absolutely outstanding. And those, as fans, you can pin your hopes on those. And the best thing is, they've kept behind Gary O'Neill, isn't it? In this world of player power, when everything's going bad, like 8 games after the season, you could get the sack. They've stuck behind him. Even in their darkest days and their worst defeats, that they've shown promise, like against Manchester City. And fair play to them. Wolves look good. Although they did score the last 2 goals when Fulham were down to 10 men. But
it can be genetic, a boil on the bum, but a lot of the time,
really?
A lot of the time it is hygiene. You know, like if you're sitting down a lot, keep it aired, change your pants, and make sure you have a good wash. People do not remember in a shower that you do need to wash and rinse your legs your arse.
I've actually just started changing my wash strategy, actually. Not just normal shower gel.
You actually have one?
Yeah, no, I'm actually doing a shower. No, I've gone in now for, bought bars of soap. So I'll go for a soap wash all over and really scrub the knees and the legs. And then I'll go for the shower gel as almost like a perfume, an aperitif, if you will.
And I don't need a YouTube analytical expert to tell me where we lost the views in this one. Let's talk about Villa. So Bladenator just said Villa were robbed. I think with Villa at the moment, I was not surprised about that. I mean, it was Palace, but it wasn't at Selhurst Park. It was Villa Park. Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily a difficult place to go. Good result for Palace. Villa missed a penalty and then conceded straight after.
See the Dean Henderson stuff.
But I don't know whether they were they robbed.
I didn't really watch. I only caught the highlights, and
but I just think they're tired. Villa. I think they're a tired team.
It feels a bit lethargic from Villa, And again, this week they're going into Champions League football, aren't they?
Big game against Juventus, I think. On some crack. We'll talk about Champions League in a minute, but
Juventus at home, Wednesday
Everton,
night.
Brentford.
I'll be honest with you now. I've been on holiday. I didn't watch.
Well, I've got 2 things to say about this. How shit are Everton? Although they are playing United next Sunday, so
careful
about that one. But I mean, I think the sending off was atrocious. And there'll be people in the chat saying it definitely was a sending off. You've made a big mistake there. You've gone back to what we tried to get rid of last year. You're watching it in slow motion. In slow motion, it looks nasty. In real life, he's going for a 50-50 ball, misses it, and catches Pickford when he's trying to score a goal. The referee on the pitch doesn't give it. Twat on VAR goes, you might want to take a look at this. That is not a red card. Like, you are going to get hurt in a game of football when 2 people genuinely try and win the ball. So that was an absolutely ridiculous red card. But the bigger point is that happened with about an hour left and Everton still couldn't score at Goodison Park. I just think Everton, new stadium, you're looking at what Fulham do, you're looking at what Brentford do, you're looking at what bloody Brighton do. Everton, I like Sean Dyche, but he belongs on UK Gold. He's like
bullseye.
Get him presenting bullseye. He's archaic. And
to just play devil's advocate.
They can't score goals.
Yeah, but this is one of the most attacking Brentford sides we've ever seen. I mean, in terms of this Premier League season, Brentford have been one of the most exciting, haven't they, in terms of scoring goals? So to go down to 10 men, keep the clean sheet, although it is a bit archaic, that's Dyche's
Everton
positive.
didn't go down to 10 men.
No, yeah, but Brentford going down to 10 men, that just feels like very like. Dyche.
Everton should have won that.
Yeah, but I just feel like Dyche would just take the clean sheet. We haven't scored the goal, but we haven't lost. Do you know what I mean? That's what he takes from it. I think
Everton are just so underwhelming, and they've got so much potential, and I just think
they're
wasting it.
Where's that potential from? Like the signings haven't been great. Like the best player, Calvert-Lewin.
In the modern game, the way they play football is just really meh. And there are teams out there like the Forests and the Fulhams and the Brentfords who actually are quite in Bournemouth. Quite entertaining. I mean, I'd look at Bournemouth and go 11,000 capacity, play good football on the south coast of England.
Yeah, but
and then I look at Everton, huge fan base.
Yes.
You know, one of the biggest footballing cities in the world, and they're so meh, and they're putting up with it.
But what's the Bournemouth got good ownership, progressive, Brighton obviously the leaders of that. Fulham have got that. You know, Everton still haven't sorted that ownership battles out. Sean Dyche is in there, but Sean Dyche is probably the longest interim manager we're going to ever have in the Premier League in terms of he's there to keep them up in the Premier League. New owners come in, won't they? And they'll go,
get out.
Yeah, get me René Dutoit, who plays.
I think Sean Dyche nowadays is probably a Championship manager.
The game or in the actual Championship?
I just don't think I don't think in the Premier League that whole Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, but even in the Championship that doesn't stand.
Exactly. Let's talk about sackings though, because we probably have missed the game that we haven't spoken about.
Well, we got the big one. There's obviously a game on tonight.
No. But I mean, we've spoken Arsenal, Chelsea. We've done United. We've done City. We've done Liverpool. We've done Brentford. Oh, Bournemouth, Brighton. Good result for Brighton.
João Pedro.
Good result for Brighton.
You know, João Pedro went to Brighton for quite a lot of money, and I think people were like, "Is he the man?"
What about Brighton?
What about him?
What about Brighton? But that's what he's saying, it. You know, when you're down the pub with your mates, just say, "What about Brighton?"
Yeah,
you are the hipster. Yeah. You don't have to say anything else. Let them do the work.
You know what Brighton remind me of? Doctor Who. You know
what?
Hang on.
Rubbish and for nonsense. I didn't say that. I'm not saying you're a nonce if you watch Doctor Who, but I'm just saying it is absolute rubbish.
No, when Tennant was in charge, that's when we had who was the one before Tennant?
Eccleston,
Tennant, good doctors. Then I've not really watched. But you know, at the end, when they're getting a new doctor.
Brighton aren't like Doctor Who.
Hang on, let me finish. Let me speak. You know when Brighton.
Brighton's like slow horses.
Go on.
Like really niche and interesting.
Yeah, people like us have watched it.
Yeah.
Brighton, you know when the doctor's dying and another one's coming in and they regenerate and it's like the new face.
Yeah.
That's like a Brighton midfielder. Like you don't know who it is, but it's regenerating. We go again, and they keep cracking on. And João Pedro's performance yesterday, a goal on Saturday, goal and assist, and he literally looked levels above.
I think with Brighton, that's not an easy place to go. Bournemouth, it's got South Coast derby vibes, I suppose, as well. But Bournemouth are a good team. They've beaten Arsenal and City there in their last couple of Premier League games. So I just think, I know we talk about Brighton quite a bit, but they are almost everybody's sort of second team. I'm not saying we all support them, but they're an interesting team. And they've got some really winnable games coming up. And obviously they beat Man City before the international break. So to follow it up away to Bournemouth, they are right up there. And I mean, I'm not putting them in the top four, but they have got some really good players, like I say, and they're hungry. Well, and they're not in Europe either.
And exactly, and I think we spoke about it after the Manchester City game. The manager and the players came out and said, this club is to challenge the establishment. And, that's what we're trying to do here. And I think as fans, you want to be able to see, if you're lower down the league, that there is a way to challenge the establishment without spending stupid amounts of money. And Brighton are doing that. They're currently sat fifth. They've been in Europe. They've had some fantastic days in their recent history. They're still progressing. And I think that, as a football fan, should give you hope. So I think, in a way, we should all be Brighton.
Exactly. I think that's football is the Brighton. You know, we haven't got the massive budgets of Neville and Match of the Day and Lineker and that, but we still box up there with them every single week. In fact, brilliant on Saturday's watch-along, by the way. If you didn't watch it, we had live TV rights for the first time of RB Leipzig. Now, look, obviously it's not the Premier League. It's not even Serie A, but it was nice to have some live football in the background while we were doing that. Absolutely loved that if you got involved with that. For the community, 40k as well on this channel when you're on holiday. For not for you, but for for terminal illness charity. We raised in 12 hours.
Yeah,
brilliant.
no, absolutely brilliant. Now,
absolutely fantastic.
Seb beat you on WWE.
I did let him win.
No, you didn't. He had your pants down, mate.
No.
I told you got to be a bit more prolific with Shawn Michaels, and you were just holding the trigger a bit too much. Yeah,
messing about. But good result from Brighton. Let's see what they can do with that. But let's talk about Chelsea, Leicester. We've already said that Chelsea are up there doing really well. It was only 2-1. Leicester are not doing bad, and then Steve Cooper gets sacked. What's the big idea?
I think this is one of those ones where we have to tread carefully because, outside perspective, Leicester, if they stay up in the Premier League this season, that's the achievement, isn't it? And Steve Cooper or somebody else was saying this, like the goal for him was to stay up. So I think that's where the big surprises come. It feels a bit like when we got Wayne Rooney. You'll have it elsewhere with like Mark Robbins leaving Coventry. If a fan favourite leaves the club, and you bring someone in from a rival, you're already on the back foot, aren't you? So it did feel a weird appointment, but then it felt a bit inevitable. Apparently they're backing for Potter, Van Nistelrooy.
Well, he did beat him twice in 4 games.
Exactly. So he knows the rhythm.
It looks to me like they've got somebody else lined up.
Well,
it's like being in a relationship, isn't it? And then you're down the pub, you like the person you're with, and then you see something better, and you're sort of like, it's now or never. You're dumped.
Yeah.
And they're halfway through the starter, and you're like, you can finish it, but there's another place going to be sitting there.
And I'm not paying.
Yeah.
Have you done that before?
Yeah, you would pay in this situation because there's compensation, but my compensation is I'll pay for the meal, but if you could leave quietly because I'm going to be sitting over there chatting her up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't fart on the chair.
And it is a her.
Yeah.
Just for anybody out there there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way I am. Yeah.
I am what I am.
Did my barber just walk in?
Why?
Because I can feel a clip coming on. Rodri said something about Ronaldo. Get me researching.
Well, no, he said he basically saying about he's a Messi man basically, but he went to have a little dig at Ronaldo.
And what did he say?
Oh, I can get the quotes up for you. Right,
bloody do it! I'm ready for this. Get ready, Niall. This is going to go absolutely viral. Ronaldo fans are going to love it. I don't even know what's been said yet, but I'm revved up like Lewis Hamilton's clutch.
Lionel Messi is the greatest player of all time, without any doubt. Cristiano has managed to match Messi without innate talent, but those of us who played against them can see the difference, Rodri said, speaking to El Hombre, who didn't want Cristiano to step into the box because he was lethal there. I mean, it doesn't really sound too bad.
Yeah, that was a bit of an anticlimax. A bit of an anticlimax there. I mean, look, I've always said Messi is a better natural talent, but Ronaldo, for me, I would choose because I don't know how he managed to do it year in, year out.
He basically said we didn't want Cristiano to step into the box because he was lethal there, but with Messi, the danger was everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what Rodri's talking about as well because he's only 27 and... When's he played against Messi and Ronaldo prime? They were in their prime. Ronaldo was in his prime about 14 years ago.
When Messi got the ball, you'd think, danger. When I first started playing against him, I tried to take him on the ball and he dodged you as if you were a bull in the ring. Maybe the bull ring. The feeling I had was something bad. I mean, this is really boring. And probably why I left it out of the running order.
Yeah, probably why.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds to me like Rodri is in some sort of category on YouPorn, just talking about Messi and,
Well, I mean, he's not even talking about it that glowingly.
Doing something with his other hand.
Yeah.
Jog on, Rodri. You can't. You're injured.
Hey, no laughing at injuries because
he's already injured.
Cancelled.
He's already injured.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing he was injured.
I thought that was a bit. Did you see the ceremony around him when he was on the pitch and stuff? I mean, if I had a Ballon d'Or winner, I'd go out.
Yeah. I was glad they lost after that.
Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it?
No, look, I do know a few Man City fans. They do exist, and they acknowledged my video yesterday was absolutely spot on. They said, look, it's not actually acceptable what's going on. We've just signed Pep on a long-term contract. We've still got loads of world-class players, and we're ridiculously reliant on a bloke who's got a knee injury for the whole season. And I've said it before. I remember Roy Keane doing it in the 98 season, and Arsenal won the double, but we pushed them really hard all the way. Yeah. We just fell up short because we didn't have Keane, but you don't fall apart. You don't fall apart.
Should we do some... What time are we on? Should we do some TikTok-y bits? Then we'll do Champions League watch and we'll do EFL.
Yeah. Bad week for me.
Bad week for you. I don't know if you saw... Well, you did see because we already talked about it. Roy Keane. Trying to do his punditry. Some bloke shouting, gobbing off. He was on Stick to Football the other week saying like that's why he would stop doing it, just because the people... He had that incident at Arsenal, was it last year?
Yeah, someone threw a punch at him, didn't they?
Yeah, so just knobheads all about. Roy Keane reacted and said he'll meet him in a car park. But what I want to know, and what everyone just wants to know at home... Roy Keane's called you out for a fight in the car park, Mark.
Has he really?
Yeah, he said, I don't like that, Mark Goldbridge. but you need a teammate because you're okay. But
I've got to look after my.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm wiry.
You're putting in what do they do in June? You're putting forward a tribute. So you're going, this guy's fighting for me. So I picked a few people.
It's a bit like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So
if
basically winner stays on. So I'll start with someone here, and then whoever we get to at the end is teaming up with you.
So I've got to pick someone who I think is going to represent me against Roy Keane.
Yeah. I could knock him out. So start with Peter Crouch or myself.
What, to represent me?
Yeah.
You both binned.
No, you got to pick one because winner stays on.
Oh, Peter Crouch. You're not into
I
that.
fight for your honour.
Yeah, but you're not in that. You don't.
I
Like,
love
you.
you.
Don't like confrontation.
Yeah, but if it's for
which
you...
I know. So Peter Crouch.
Okay. Peter Crouch or Ricky from the United stand.
I tell you what, Ricky's got a good. I was playing darts with Ricky the other day. He can move. He's got some moves. So I'm gonna. And he's got a lot. He's got big hands.
Yeah.
So Ricky.
Least mobile sport.
But also with Ricky.
When he was hitting the bullseye, he was doing all this dancing like this. He was like better than Crouch. So definitely Ricky.
And also, I feel like he's had experiences where you think he might know
he
how
knows
to.
what he's doing.
He knows. Ricky from the United stand or Gary Lineker.
Definitely Ricky from the United stand. Gary Lineker, I mean, what's he going to do? Never got a yellow card in his life. He's going to run away and cry to the teacher.
Good shit on him.
Shit himself and run away. Cry to the teacher.
Ricky from the United...
You can't trust a player who played that long who never got a yellow card. You know what that says? Coward.
Different games. Ricky from the United stand or Gary Neville?
Yeah, I mean, look, Gary Neville in that tunnel needed Roy Keane to come and help him.
Yeah.
I think he'd shit himself, so I've got to go Ricky.
Okay.
Ricky had taught Gary Neville. He'd say to Roy before we start fighting, I'm telling you now, Bruno's rubbish.
He's better than you. Ricky from the United stand or Alan Shearer?
Again, Shearer shit himself in front of Roy Keane, didn't he?
I don't think he shit. He went head to head.
Oh, I could smell it from here.
No,
he was absolutely shitting himself, mate. You could see it in the eyes. You know, when he's trying to act all hard, and he was like, "Thank God, there's about 20 people in front of me."
No, I disagree completely.
Shearer was shitting himself. You check his undies after that.
What, is she still having Ricky from the United stand over Alan Shearer?
Yeah.
Okay, Ricky from the United stand or Micah Richards?
Oh, I've got to go Richards on this. He's built.
He's built.
I mean, if you could stop him pissing about and laughing and just say, stop laughing and lamp him.
They're best mates, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, Mika, if you actually stop pissing about, you could have been a really good footballer. And if you stop pissing around, you'll knock him out.
Okay.
Massive.
And finally, Mika or Troy Deeney?
You know what? That's quite close, but I'm going to go Mika Richards.
Okay.
I don't know whether Troy Deeney might be.
Mika's got dodgy knees.
Yeah, but he's
better knees than Ricky, though.
If he punches you, you're staying down.
Okay, so the final answer is winner stays on Mika.
Yeah.
Okay, love that.
I think Roy Keane would agree with that.
Yeah, okay. Ricky there got quite a long way, more than I expected. Old Ricky.
Right, Ricky. So there's your next misfits. Mika Richards against Ricky.
And you manage him in the corner.
Yeah.
Champions League football this week. It's back. I saw someone actually while I was away sort of fight in the corner of the new Champions League format, basically just saying it's exactly the same, but just with 2 extra games. But I just feel...
I think next season it's going to really suffer, you know. I think the intrigue of this year made the first 3 or 4 games quite interesting. It's okay now because you're getting close to the end of it and the league makes sense. But the first 3 or 4 games next year, you'll be like, this makes no sense.
And also, this is a first world problem, but I read somewhere, so it might not be true, but it is true, that I think between now or from this weekend until Christmas Day or New Year's, there's only 2 days where there's not either a Premier League game, a Carabao Cup game, or a Champions League Europa
let's
game.
drink to that.
Exactly. Christmas CPMs are in, and everyone will be having a nice mulled wine. English teams this week: Aston Villa have got Juventus, like
good.
we said. Sporting Lisbon host Arsenal.
That'll be good.
Liverpool, Real Madrid on
That'll
Wednesday.
be good.
So, if anything, the Champions League's back.
Yeah.
And
Man City got
Manchester
Swindon.
City, they've got Feyenoord.
May as well be Swindon.
Arne Slot's former team.
Are they any good?
Don't know.
I'll laugh if they lost that.
That would be a real crisis, wouldn't it?
They'll go and win about 6-0 and then bounce back.
And then we're back. EFL watch them this week. Quite interesting. Coventry drew 2-2 with Sheffield United, but Chris Wilder came out in the post-match, was basically saying if these players had ran like that for the last 10-15 games, Mark Robbins would have still been in the job.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite refreshing.
Yeah. Keep calling out the players. They're paid enough.
Sunderland drew in the last minute against Millwall. Sunderland were on the attack. It was a bit
that game went on for ages, didn't it? Because there was a medical incident.
Yes, and you, like the when Brighton were through against Wolves the other week, it was like that. They had a chance on goal, missed. Millwall went up the other end and
scored,
won the game.
Charlton lost. Hartlepool
to Hartlepool.
No, not Hartlepool. Stockport. Same thing.
Yeah,
Huddersfield.
Birmingham City lost. Cheltenham Town. Let me just double check. And I don't.
Notts County drew.
Cheltenham won again.
Notts County drew. And Solihull Moors lost 4-3 at the Moors, which is just,
They're on telly on Sunday.
Moors?
Yeah.
Won the cup?
Yeah, got Bromley, yeah.
Yeah, that was the game last year. That was the game we were at.
Yeah.
Could have been in the league and lost on penalties.
But yeah, no, a good weekend and all. I sort of feel very reinvigorated by the Premier League going forward. I think it's going to be a very exciting season, and I think it's one that we can all get behind. Do you think this time?
I'm just knackered.
Yeah, you've been doing it. You've moved house.
Fucking hell. I'm just so knackered. I feel like I'm just so tired. I'm going to break down. Yeah, I moved house in the international break. So last week was just a killer. Then I was in Manchester on Thursday, and I am really excited about having the football back. But I just need, if anyone can sell me about 10 hours sleep, that would be great.
How's the puppy going as well?
So she's settled in all right. She seems to be having the most fun out of everyone, which is, it's irritating when someone's having fun and everyone else is tired.
When you're just stressed.
Although, what I will say is we always do this when we move house. I sound like I do it quite a lot, but I probably moved three houses in the last 10 years. But that week when you move in and the cooker's not set up and everything like that,
when you feel like, plates are here, no, they're over here.
It's a week of takeaways.
Is it?
I've had pizza, Indian, KFC, Chinese, but today was my first day back.
That's why you feel sluggish.
Yeah, today was my first day back.
You had a few drinks at the weekend as well?
Yeah, a few drinks.
Put that on top.
Alchemist on Thursday night was lovely.
Yeah, what did you have? You have one of them posh cocktails?
No, it was everyone else, I'll fucking pay, I didn't want to do that.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was paying for it, right? And I didn't want to do it, but I did because I think they thought it was going to be split. Right. So they were going for these cocktails, and I was like, just treats on me, by the way.
Yeah, right.
And then none of them changed their order. I thought they'd all go Moretti. Yeah. They didn't. They were like, I'll have that one that's smoking up in. I mean, it did smell nice, but that was good. Very good though. Very good. Alchemist. Very good in Manchester. They had like a Christmas menu, which I had turkey in a basket, which was basically like strips of chicken,
just raw turkey,
but with gravy. Came out with a gravy dip. It was really nice.
Any cranberry with that as well?
Came with a Christmas cranberry slaw as well, and their chips were really nice. Very good food. And then we went to the Flight Club.
Nice.
In Manchester, which was a good laugh.
I saw Greg won.
I don't understand that because I was better than everybody else there and I came fourth. I think it actually I think it's a bit snowflake. Like school sports day, you win but you don't get first prize.
Just because you were shit, you can't.
But I was really good. I was like whacking.
Yeah, but you're in a pair as well, aren't you?
Yeah, but also I didn't understand the rules. Like Matt told me about halfway through, you keep hitting.
You're not trying to get 180.
You keep hitting treble 20 and it's asking you to hit 2.
You need to get in that. What's that? Is it the Mondo series? You need to get in that. There's that influencer dart series that's going on.
Yeah.
Getting down into that. We've got ours next Monday, or maybe not.
Well, we'll definitely rearrange it if not.
Oh God, no Christmas this year. Christmas is coming.
We can just do it on a Tuesday.
Oh, not Tuesday. No, that'll be exciting. And lots of Birmingham City need to bounce back this week. We're away at Exeter on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're
down to fourth.
What's going on there? I watched you at the start of the season. I was like, you're going to be the Man City of this league, and you are the Man City of the league. You're losing bloody games to shit.
And we get closer each week to Michael Owen's prediction of Manchester City finishing fourth being a little bit more truer.
God, the day Michael Owen is actually a decent pundit is the day we're all in trouble.
Exactly.
Well, then again, the other way you flip it is we've all got a chance.
Yeah.
But I did say that Liverpool were going to win the Champions League in my pre-season pissed predictions.
Oh, right, yeah. Look, the best thing is there's a lot of football to be played and there's a lot of outcomes that can then happen. Even down the bottom, Ipswich are playing a bit bare. I know Southampton lost. Oh, sorry, that's what I didn't speak about. The Southampton's first goal.
What about it?
My God.
Good one.
My piss was boiling. Did you see it? Alex McCarthy.
Well, we tried to see it, but the sky that we had on because of the rain here was like so. It's like watching it through.
They're basically trying to pass out from the back, but Alex McCarthy's in to replace Aaron Ramsdale. He's played a stinking ball. He gets one back to the defender. I mean, thank God they scored 2 goals because that could have been I might have obliterated. But they're picking up. I think there's a bit of fun to be had down the bottom.
I was impressed with Ipswich yesterday. I think they've got the thing that you need, which is a player that can score goals. And I think
Liam Delap
looks
he
good.
looks like he'll hold the ball up, get it off to the good players. They've got people.
You need that at the bottom. We saw it with Ivan Toney. If any of the bottom 3 can find somebody to score you, 10, 15 goals, you've got a chance. And it is still quite congested down there. I just don't know. The relegation battle, get in the comments. I just don't. I mean, obviously, a lot of people talk about Liverpool and United and City and all that lot. But in relation to the relegation battle, I still think Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich, but probably because I can't see who else is going to drop in there.
Well, it's like, Wolves have picked up.
West
Palace have got a good
Ham
point.
will sack Lopetegui and then they'll bounce.
That's tonight, isn't it?
Dyche will definitely keep Everton up whilst being pretty shit.
Yeah.
Wolves are not going to go down.
No.
So who do you put in there? It's definitely not going to be Brentford or Palace.
Palace could be the ones just because I think they've lost so much.
This could be the problem for Ipswich or Leicester or Southampton is that they might be good enough to stay up, but then it's so competitive. You need someone to drop, don't you?
Yeah.
You need someone really shit, and
they're not taking the points.
I thought Forest might be down there, but they will start dropping now. But I don't think they'll drop that far.
Need to change my fantasy team. Need to get Erling Haaland out of there. We'll be back probably next Monday, aren't we? Because you've got some installations.
Yes, I don't think I'll be here on Friday.
You need your hard drive updating. But we will be back next Monday from the Goldbridge Arms to recap what's been another wonderful week of football. I've been Will Brazier. This has been Mark Goldbridge.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks. Lovely to be back. Great. I love this show on a Monday. Brilliant Premier League. Get your comments in as per usual. Speak to you all in a bit.
Bye.
Oh, I'm gagging for a piss.